Okay, now let me know if you can hear everything now. I think my chopper's on the yeah, everybody's a thumbs up on the audio side. That's Facebook. That's Facebook. That's Facebook. Let me see here. Alicia is saying no sound. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me on Facebook. She says yes. So now I'm confused. Are you saying yes, no sound, or yes, can hear you? Great, great, great. Well, let me take it from the top then, family, from my Facebook people. Sorry about that. Facebook be tripping sometime. That's why we're gonna always use Facebook, but the main hub for our content will be our website, which will be up really, really soon. But thank you. Everybody can hear me. Okay, so let me take this from the top. Hey, Gail. Good to see you. Let me take this from the top, everybody. And again, thank you for being here. You could be anywhere in the World Wide Web. Sorry, this might seem redundant for my people on the Spreaker and TuneIn side, but you're here with me this morning, and I really appreciate you. Welcome back to the last honest place in Cincinnati media, bar none. There are no more honest spaces than where we are right here in the city of Cincinnati, and perhaps the world. Okay, but I'm based in greater Cincinnati area, so that's my wheelhouse. On today's show, I want to talk about numerous things. Again, excuse the redundancy to my people on the Spreaker side, but I got to set the show up. I want to talk about why I believe you should keep wearing your mask even if you're vaccinated. And it's real simple because you can still catch COVID even if you've gotten the vaccine. That's the reason why you should keep wearing your mask. The CDC is irresponsible, telling people that they should stop wearing their masks. Quite frankly, it's just too soon. But the big machine of summer commerce is humming up for another go round. And so, they're willing patsies in politics, i.e. the politicians want to play along. That's what it comes down to. But I think you should keep wearing your mask. Even if you're vaccinated, keep wearing your mask. Once I'm fully vaccinated, I will continue to wear my mask because I don't trust it. I just don't trust humans. I'm just be honest with you. Humans are way worse than COVID. Let me set this back up. I wondered if people got a chance to check out the Is It Just Me podcast on Friday. I thought that Donnie B's critique in her opinion, about Superintendent Laura Mitchell, who's a Black female, announcing her departure was superlative by far, in my opinion, my humble opinion, the best flow on that topic that I've heard thus far. Okay, you might have heard some more superlative flows than that. I haven't heard it. It's near the end of the show, so so if you're going to look for it, go look for like the last 20, 30 minutes of the show. Fire. Sis broke it down all the way. Reopened my mind to some things like, oh, snap, she 100% on this. 100% of some of the things that she said about the superintendent and CPS in general. And what I loved is her focus on Gabriel Taillee. I love that because we don't say that boy's name enough when it comes to CPS. We don't say his name enough. And every parent in CPS should be outraged by that case. They should be outraged at what happened to that young boy. And they should be outraged right now that CPS and their lawyers are fighting it as if they did nothing wrong in court right now. Well, all this shit been going on, all this stuff with they doing this right now, and I don't see enough people talking about it. I don't see enough people talking about it, quite honestly. They should drop that lawsuit like yesterday, admit their guilt, and move forward and hold those administrators responsible. So basically, you had a little boy, young boy, little black boy named a little brown boy, could have been my son, named Gabriel Taillee, and he allegedly was bullied. I'll put it that way. And remember, we saw the video, terrible video system by CPS. Where is our money going? You can't get a better video system. It's like if we went back to 1984 and stole their video surveillance system and installed it in that school in Carson Elementary many years ago. Terrible, by the way. It doesn't give you enough information. But we all saw the grainy video, like a little time-lapse video where it's like a series of like still shots or camera shots. Anyway, the little boy is like laying out on the bathroom floor and for like what appeared to be a long time. And then a couple of days later, he commits suicide. Now, anybody who's ever done any training on bullying will tell you that bullying can lead to suicide. Anybody who's ever done any training on bullying and the effects of bullying, that's going to be at the top of the list. CPS has conducted trainings. How do I know? I took a training from CPS staff many years ago when I was in youth development, and that's what they taught us. We were down there at the Urban League, not the Urban League. No, not the Urban League. It was down at United Way building on Reading Road. They have a like banquet hall that they rent out sometime right there on the first floor. Anybody been down there? I speak the facts. That's where it was. It was put on by CPS staff. This is prior to Gabriel Taillet. So how the hell do they go in court now and claim that there's no connection between the two whatsoever? Again, CPS is in court right now arguing that if your son or daughter, while in their care, gets bullied to the point where they're unconscious on the floor, that they don't have to call you and tell you. That should be the number one news. What's more important than that? What's bigger than that? Where's the local media on that? They should be do that, but they rather talk about the Gang of Five. I'm not saying they didn't run any stories. I'm just saying it's about the focus. They would much rather waste our time with stories about the Gang of Five, in which there's no real kitchen tables issues at all, than they should be doing nonstop investigation and deep dives into what the Young Activist Coalition has found out about Black students being 5 times more likely to get exclusionary discipline. That's what they should be spending their time on. They got the resources. We the little guys over here. They got all the big money and all the endowments. Fucking do something with it that actually matters. But no, they want to run around here talking about the Gang of Five. A council member deleted his text. Meanwhile, Black students are being brutalized at CPS. That makes sense to you. Man, listen, a great flow can always spark another creative individual, man. You should check that flow out. She was 100% point, 100% on point. And basically her point was, see you, Laura Mitchell, bye. What are we losing? If you look at the numbers, excellent flows, excellent flows. Again, you should check it out, like the last 30 minutes. And if not, I'll just play it. Maybe we'll just grab that spot right there and turn this into its own podcast and put it out there so people can hear it. And then you can, fact check it or do whatever you got to do. But all excellent points. We don't say Gabriel Taillet's name enough. We just act like it didn't happen anymore because it's not convenient. But if that family can't get justice, then it makes perfect sense as to what I've seen myself. Now I understand why the issues and frustrations that parents have. Now I get it. Because if you can have a young boy that gets bullied to the point that he commits suicide, and then there's no teachers, administrators get discipline whatsoever. Although I know that the Black female principal got moved. Is she still in the district? Nobody talks about it, right? They want to cover her up, make sure the media don't know about it, I guess. I don't know, but nobody really held responsible whatsoever. What makes you think that when you have an issue at your school with a teacher administrator that they're going to really take it seriously? It depends on the personality of the principal or the people involved. It depends on their disposition. That's what I've seen. It's just like, dealing with CPS is just like dealing with the police. You never know what you're going to get from year to year, from interaction to interaction. There's very little inconsistency. It really just comes down to the personalities of the individuals involved. If they want to be straight eight assholes, then they can get away with that. If they want to be racist, they can get away with that. If they want to abuse your child, you can abuse kids in CPS, especially if they're Black. Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. Nobody's going to do anything. That's the thing about it. Nobody's going to do anything about it. Nothing. Nobody. The superintendent's not going to do anything about it because she didn't. The school board definitely ain't gonna do anything about it because they can't even figure out on some cases what they think about issues, let alone care enough about your issue. If you call the school board and say you got an issue with, let's say you got a major issue, and the principal at your school is ignoring, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna tell you to call the deputy superintendent or the superintendent or some shit like that, or they'll give you some little number that doesn't really work. And back to business for that, and they on to the next one. It makes sense. It makes perfect sense. So we'll see what happens. And then we won't even talk about the academics. We won't even talk about the academics. It's a shame. It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. It really is. And I blame the leadership. I blame the school board. I blame all the people at the top. I blame the principals at these schools and administrators at the schools because y'all the ones administering the discipline and dealing with the issues on the day-to-day. And clearly something is wrong. Clearly something is wrong. Oh, I speak facts, man. But there's people out there like, oh boy, I'd never say it. Like we talking about the mafia. We talking about the school district. That's it. They're not gonna come to your house. Joey and Vito are not gonna come to your house and muscle you. But that's how people be acting. It's quite interesting. All under Laura Mitchell. So it's worth the time just to bounce your thoughts and maybe sharpen some flows that you might have yourself. But as you can tell, I found it to be very entertaining. 513-873-7134 if you'd like to share your thoughts. Sunday morning, Edna Howe had a guest on who's a former Alabama state trooper. And let's just say that he got some pushback from the audience. Put it this way. I had no idea the take the brother was going. Edna's been setting up her own show because she is a pro. And you should be checking out Straight Talk because Edna's back. And I think a much needed voice, adding to the tapestry of voices that are already out there in this market and beyond. I say beyond because the Facebook, the internet has no boundaries. And so the brother came on. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know what he was going to say. The brother came on and he looks like he sounds like he's a very positive brother that's doing some good things for the youth. He's got like a chess program that's really about youth leadership and development and things like that. I'm for it. But when asked about, how to survive a traffic stop, essentially his flow was, and I think he probably had more, but once the critiques came in, once the heat came in, sometimes the natural thing for some people is defend their primary position. So essentially he was saying that if you want to survive a traffic stop, be nice. Be polite to the officer. Apologize to the officer for whatever you did. And that didn't sit too well with members of the audience Sunday morning, to say the least. And listen, these platforms should be an amplification of the particular host and their guests who come on. That's that. We'd all black folks don't think the same. Somebody was like, well, that's the difference between people that are from the South and people from the North. Matter of fact, I think I was talking with Edna afterward, and she said that. Good morning, Edna, if you're watching. And let's just say that he got some pushback. He got some articulate pushback. But, I get his point overall, but I think there's more to it than that. And people were like, well, there's a difference between being polite and groveling. And there is a difference. And there's a big difference between being polite and groveling. Because you don't want to escalate with somebody that that they have they can go farther and harder than you're willing to go. I get that. But I just feel like when we offering critiques and tips on how to survive these traffic stops, I think we need to be dealing with case law and best practices that extend beyond just, how you present yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because what's happening with us is deeper than just how you present yourself. There's a whole lot of people that didn't do a damn thing wrong. They were polite to the officer, but the officers weren't polite. And no matter how polite you might be to somebody, if they got it in their mind to F with you, that's what they're going to do. If they're going to try to provoke you, they're going to try to provoke you. If they're a racist police officer and they see a black person, they see you less than human, then you being polite is not going to change that. But let's go back to the phones for the first time this morning. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, comrade.
Hey, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. Well, actually, a whole lot's going on. How you doing this morning? How was your weekend?
I'm doing great. The weekend was great as well, Black Russia. Welcome.
Thank you. Hey, just two things this morning. Hey, the opening of FC Cincinnati. Again, the difference between Jeff Pastor and Michelle Dillingham. We got a fantastic soccer game in the West End yesterday. It started off slow, 2-0, but the Lions came back to tie it before giving it up at the end. It was kind of Cincinnati Bengalish, but, hey, we're used to it.
Is that supposed to mean something? You said we had a fantastic soccer game last night. We were having soccer games in Cincinnati already up at UC at Nipper Stadium.
Yeah, but the experience, you could just tell on TV. Got the national TV. We're on Fox Sports. I mean, it wasn't on WSTR yesterday. We were on national TV yesterday. Mm-hmm. That's a big deal. We wasn't on national TV at Nipper. At Nipper, we were stuck to Channel 11. Now we're prime time, opening the stadium. I mean, they lost. Yeah, it was an exciting game, though, if you went to soccer. Started off slow, like I said, started off dismal, but then, FC showed some life in the second half before giving it up at the end. You wouldn't have got that experience at Nippert. I guarantee it. You wouldn't have got that type of national exposure at Nippert. Again, the difference between Michelle Dillingham and Jeff Pastor in 2017, national exposure. Our city was in the limelight yesterday afternoon.
Well, that's one way to put it. Some might say that the difference is maybe a better deal for the West End. Like if Michelle Dillingham was down there, the deal was going to go through no matter what, perhaps. Then it might have been a better deal for the people of the West End, and everything else was still going to happen the same way.
I don't know about that because if I recall, the vote was 5-4. It was still a close vote to get the stadium done. Is that right? I just want to make sure I'm right on the facts.
I think you might be right about that, actually.
So
I'm just saying that Jeff Pastor was way more into the idea of FC Cincinnati than Michelle Dillingham was.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Yes.
So and again, I don't remember all her points, but I think part of it is she didn't feel as if the West End was getting enough out of it.
Okay.
So again, logically speaking, I mean, I think the deal was probably going to go through no matter what. But if she was on council, it might have been a sweeter deal for the neighborhood because Jeff was.
Or we might not have gotten the deal at all.
Jeff put up very little resistance. I think he added some things, quite honestly, but he was 100% for the deal from the jump.
Well, okay, Nathan, you can't have it both ways. You can't say that he was 100% for the deal, but then turn around and he added things to the deal. Like either he was 100% for it or he negotiated a good deal. I don't think you can say he was 100% for it and then turn around and negotiate. I think he was open to the idea.
No, I think you can.
Then why negotiate then? That don't make sense. If you're 100% for the deal, then why negotiate? There's no point in negotiation. You're going to just rubber stamp it.
I just remember there was something that he added. I don't remember what it was, but I thought there was something that he added on some level.
I think the community. I think he had the community benefits agreement. I think that was a big deal that he was involved in.
Right.
So, like, I think that's critical to give him credit where credit is due.
Yeah, I can't
a community benefits agreement.
Because I can't remember the details of it particularly.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, I think that even if Michelle Dillingham was on council, I think the deal would have went forward. But if she was on council, I think that it would have been a sweeter deal for the West End. Meaning that,
I think should have been a no deal. I think should have been a no because she was just entrenched on not getting that deal done. From my perspective, reasonable minds can disagree, but just from my perspective, she had her feet dug in. She was a straight no.
I can't remember.
She was down. Well, remember, she was down there trying to get senators to stop it, too.
She was.
And she failed. She failed, though. But, the reality is, I think we have to agree, 223 votes was the difference between national stage yesterday and us being stuck at Nippert on WSTR. That exposure, you can't buy that type of exposure for the city.
I'm texting Michelle Dillingham now because now I'm curious. I like to know.
You should have her on the show and talk to her about it because now she has to. She has to explain. Yeah,
I want to know.
Okay, that's cool.
I want to know what she thinks about it, and I want to know if there was anything that would have persuaded her. Because I remember asking her that, and she answered. I just can't remember it. But I like to know where she is now on the deal.
Yeah, well, the deal is done now, so it's water under the bridge. That's cool.
To our point, I mean, I think that I don't know if there was something that could have been added to the deal that would have got her a yes vote. And I'm not sure if that would have been something that would have been more of a benefit for the West End. I suspect the answer.
And that's my point. Right. What would it have took for her to get to a yes? And I just think she was entrenched on her no. Okay. That's my perspective on how she presented. But again, reasonable minds can disagree. I'm just saying that, with elections coming up in 6 months, these are the types of deals we have to evaluate her on because she's still running for council. So, like, if we would have went with her perspective, we wouldn't have got that national exposure. We wouldn't have the nicest stadium in North America. We would have been on Fox Sports. Okay, they got Cincinnati on the map in soccer, bro. And then turn around in 2026, they talking about bring a World Cup to Cincinnati. I mean, that's the type of exposure that gets us a World Cup. You see what I'm saying? These are steps. These are moves that are being made to put Cincinnati on the international map because soccer is an international sport. Damn football, damn baseball.
All in with this.
I'm all in, bro. I was all in with it from jump. I thought it was a great idea. But at the same time, again, Jeff negotiated a community benefits agreement that the West End Community Council president signed off of. These are facts. You know what I mean? So Michelle Dillingham, yeah, she's running for council, but how does she speak to what we just saw yesterday? The national exposure, being on the map 4 o'clock on Sunday. I mean, that's prime time sports. So
Well, I mean,
she's
you're
running.
right. You're
Go ahead.
right, but at what expense? Like we talking about, the culture of West End changing. The West End will never be the same. We talking about disrupting people's lives.
You're right about that.
So many people got displaced. We talking about displacing black-owned businesses. I mean, at the end of the day, are we the people getting more out of this? Or are we losing more out of it? I mean, people have to make their decision. How many new money
Right.
millionaires are going to be made by this deal? Or will it be the same old people in this city to get paid? I think that should be
Remains to be
analyzed.
seen.
You're
Remains to be
right. It
seen.
remains to be seen. You're right. But I'm a little different, man. Just because they build a stadium, get some national television, I don't mean damn thing for me. So what?
Hey, I get what you said, but you from the city, right? You wasn't proud to see the city on prime time yesterday.
I I'm
That
I'm
didn't make you
glad to
feel no
see the
type of way.
I'm glad to see Cincinnati shine when it's time for Cincinnati to
Right.
shine. That's
So
cool.
right. So Cincinnati shine, you shine, we shine, Cincinnati shine.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. Hey, one more thing too. Did you see the Friday news dump again from the Democratic Party?
I think I know what you're talking about, but what are you talking about?
I'm talking about Eddie Davenport quitting his job as executive director
Yeah.
6 months before a city council election.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that? Why do you think that happened? Now, he put out in the press release it's because he wanted to focus on judicial races. However, that's BS because guess what? The Democrats now run common pleas court. So that's garbage. You won that already. You won that battle. So now you're going to say, "Oh, I want to focus on that." Crazy. He was Derek Bauman's campaign manager, and he was salty that Derek Bauman suspended his campaign, and he walked away.
Is that what you're hearing?
Especially with all the. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. That his man, this is his main man. Derek Bauman was his number one project for city council, and he got suspended. Well, he suspended his campaign, excuse me. So now Eddie Davenport's out. So he's going to focus on judicial races. Well, so what? The Democrats now run the common pleas. So your explanation is trash. I'm hearing behind the scenes he was bad, that Derek Bauman got saved, Cam didn't get saved, and so he quit. I may have said that backwards. That Derek Bauman didn't get saved, Cam got saved, so he's out.
Mm-hmm.
So now the Democratic Party locally is left without a leader 6 months before a city council election. I mean, they're in disarray, bro. I mean, how do you pull this together with no leader, with no director?
Well, isn't Gwen
Quitting 6 months
McFarland
before the
the
election.
leader?
I'm sorry.
Isn't Gwen McFarland the leader? They've already
No,
announced
she's a
an
paper.
interim.
She's the paper leader, bro. Like she ain't coordinating nothing. The executive director runs the day-to-day operations of the Democratic Party. Gwen is like a figurehead. She's not calling no shots. Really and truly, Gwen McFarland has no power in the party. She's just a figurehead. The executive director runs the day-to-day operations of the party, and the precinct executives are the folks who decide the direction of who they want to endorse, who they don't want to endorse. This is the inner workings of the party. People have to understand that the Ohio Revised Code dictates how this stuff works with precinct executives, the executive director's role, and the chairman's role. The chairman's the figurehead. Again, they have no real power. They have no real say. They can give direction. They can say what they want to see happen, but they don't really do the day-to-day operations. Eddie Davenport was responsible for the day-to-day operations of the Hamilton County Democratic Party, and 6 months before the city council elections, which are going to be blockbuster elections because of all the corruption that's occurred within the Democratic Party, he's walked away because his main man, Derek Bauman, whose campaign he ran 4 years ago, suspended his campaign. This is what I hear. This is what I understand on the inner workings of the Democratic Party. I used to be a precinct executive for the Democratic Party in 2010, and I chose not to run for re-election. I understand how this works. The executive director is the person who's actually operating stuff. Same thing with the Republican Party. Same thing with the Charter Committee. They have executive directors who run the day-to-day. That's all they do from 9 to 5 is coordinate elections. And 6 months out, the Democrats have no leader at the executive director position. So for me, it just shows the disarray, the division in the Democratic Party. Like we're seeing the National Republican Party splitter, with Liz Cheney being thrown out of leadership and everybody bowing down to Trump, or at least the majority of Republicans bowing down to Trump. This is the same thing going on locally with the Democrats. There is a divide between the liberal Democrats and the conservative Democrats. Okay, you're going to see that in this election for mayor, like the AFTAB Puraval liberal Democrats versus the David Mann conservative Democrats. There's a straight divide locally in the Democratic Party. It is being exposed as we speak with Eddie Davenport out the door.
Okay, that's interesting, man.
So,
Perhaps you're right about that.
yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, just look into it. Talk to Dillingham. I mean, you got Nathan Ivey. You the man. You got people on deck to talk to about this stuff. I'm just giving my thoughts and what I'm hearing and what I understand how the things work.
I appreciate that. I do. It's very interesting. Anything
All
else?
All right, comrade. That's it, comrade. Have a good day.
Easy. Appreciate it. You know, that's Black Russia giving us a local political 101 lesson. I appreciate it. Perhaps he's true. Perhaps it's true about his theory about Eddie Davenport. I did see it. I do know Eddie. We friendly. We not buddy like that. But when I see him, we always stop and speak for sure. And I haven't heard anything. So his theory could be the truth for all I know. I don't know. We'll find out. I wasn't happy to see Derek Bauman. I'm favorable of Derek Bauman. And we'll see what happens. Derek, if you're watching or somebody knows him, the invitation is still on, man. Still on deck. Come on whenever. Come on, talk with us first. Give us that exclusive. Good morning. Nappy Roots writes, and my son plays for the West Pride. The stadium is okay. Facebook just won't let us be great. I know that's right. Gladys writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. We'll listen when I can. When I get a chance, caregiver for family member this week. Okay. Respect on that one. Brandy writes, my son plays for the West Pride. The stadium is okay. It's just okay? It's not like blowing your mind? Oh, man. I want to check it out. I mean, for all the talk and the money and all the fuss, they should get the best stadium. See, I'm the thing about it. I felt the same way about the Bengals. I didn't vote for the sales tax increase for the Bengals. I didn't think it was worth the money. But if you're going to spend the money, they should have got a retractable dome so it could be more usable the year long. I mean, if you're going to do it, go big. You're going to take public dollars. We try to stretch too many dollars here instead of just getting the money that we need to get what we need to get from the money. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I haven't been down to the FC Cincinnati Stadium. I will go down there. I'm not above going to a game and enjoying it, checking it out. I've heard great things about it. I mean, we paying for it. So I'll let you know what I think when I go down there. But so far, that's disappointing. You saying just okay? That's not okay. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivy. This is your West Side Connection, the one and only Drop Squad 52, and one of few Black Not Democrats in the Nathan Ivy Show Chop Shop and audience. How are you doing this fine Monday, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Drop? How was your weekend, man?
I'm doing good.
What is Drop
it was great. Well, I go play my slots on Saturday morning, take a little drive down to the local Indian reservation casino, Pachanga. And that's about it. I kick it. I got a friend of mine I play dominoes with on Saturdays and, just living my life, Mr. Ivy. Mm-hmm. That's it. Okay. My daughter, she's everything's kind of working out with her mom in Arizona. And so, all is good, Mr. Ivy. What can I say?
Good to hear. Good to hear. What's on your mind, brother?
Your cover, your art, your story with those two Black people. It looks like is that a mother and son wearing their mother and daughter all masked up. And your caption says, now correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not looking at it right now. Keep wearing your mask. Am I correct?
Correct. You are correct.
Okay, so Mr. Ivy, I thought that once the scary orange man, America's first gangster president, Teflon Don, J. Trump, was gone, that the great white hope, Sleepy Joe Biden, was going to save us all. Am I correct, Mr. Ivy? Wasn't that the case?
Well, I mean, I can't say you're wrong about what you thought. Because you said you thought. So if that's what you thought, that's what you thought. But I can tell you that I didn't think that way. I'm not looking for one person to come in and wave a magic wand and deal away with COVID. I don't think anybody outside of you thinks that.
Okay, well, I get my thoughts from the mainstream media because I watch them on a regular basis. And yes, Mr. Ivy, the mainstream media, CNN, the Crying Negroes Network, MSNBC, they were all saying the Trump administration, the CDC press conferences, Trump just running everything. CNN stooped so low, they just stopped showing the CDC press conferences. But they said, oh, we need Joe Biden. Oh, Trump, he confusing everybody. Oh, he messing up. Oh, put bleach in your hair. Drink bleach. Put light in your veins. Come on, Mr. Ivy. You know that was the case. Everybody said, once Joe Biden gets in there, everything was going to be fine. But look at all the confusion over the weekend, Mr. Ivy.
Where did you? I think you're being cynical. I think you're being cynical.
No,
I think that's your Republican bias. You being cynical and you're exaggerating. I never thought that. I never seen anybody think that. We knew that Donald Trump was bad for what we needed to do because of his attitude and his narcissism. But nobody ever thought that Joe was going to come in here and in the first 100 days completely turn COVID around. Nobody thought that.
Now, see, Mr. Ivy, this is why I mess with you. Because you are a powerful, influential member of the media. You play clips on your show. You have guests on your show now, prominent people from the greater Cincinnati area. You consume the news yourself, sir. So I want you to take yourself out of this conversation, and I want you to be an observer. The other people out there, Mr. Ivy, they were saying it. I'm not talking about you specifically. You know they were saying it. Headline right now, Mr. Ivy, CDC director defends telling fully vaccinated they can go without a mask. Why would she defend it? It's her guidelines. It's her guidance that we all knew most Americans were going by it anyway. The vaccine's been online for months now, Mr. Ivy. So again, Sleepy Joe Biden is so damn confused. He got problems on the southern border. He got problems with the CDC timing this announcement right when the Middle East is blowing up. Israel, Hamas, fighting again. Oh, but all of a sudden, here we go. Major announcement. You don't have to wear your mask anymore. But yesterday, Mr. Ivy, on all the Sunday shows, headline, governor caught flat-footed by Biden mask reversal. Headline, Fauci says updated mask guidance is based on the evolution of science. Mr. Ivy, are you serious? Now, again, my point is you sitting up here talking about, well, I never thought that. But you listened to what I was saying. I said the mainstream media, and they're willing to accomplish.
Where did you read that in the news? You talking about MSNBC? Like people expected. Wait. I think you're getting things mixed up here.
Mr. Ivy,
people expected for Joe Biden to do a better job at dealing with COVID, but nobody expected for Joe Biden to wave a magic wand and make it go away like overnight. So there's two different.
Oh yes, Joe Biden did. Joe Biden did. He the one that made the announcement. Oh, come July 4th, because of my great vaccine rollout after only being in office for 30 days. And he's talking about, oh, I'm the one who got all these Americans vaccinated. It's my policy. So come July 4th, maybe you can go outside with your family and not wear a mask. So now all the confusion, it's like the CD. I mean, come on, Mr. Ivy. I know you don't want to defend this garbage because Joe Biden is in a big mess. The confusion with the CDC guidelines out here in California, Mr. Ivy, they still have a mask mandate.
Okay.
Trader Joe's, you can go in. Trader Joe's, you can go in without a mask. Right. Walmart, you can go in without a mask.
I don't agree
but
with
what's
those
the
policies.
headline? What I know you don't, but I'm talking about nationally right now. You got business that's saying, to hell with CDC and Dr. Fauci. Now they don't want to listen to Dr. Fauci. When before, Dr. Fauci was the COVID god.
What? No, that's
Everything.
not
You
true.
better check.
People didn't want to listen to Dr. Fauci from the beginning. You talking
So
about?
you trying to trigger me, Mr. Ivy.
You all over
You
the
are
place
trying
this
to
morning.
trigger me.
Nah, you all
No,
over the
I'm
place
not.
this morning. Yes, you are. You all over the place.
I'm in one place. And that's old ass sleepy Joe Biden and the Obama Biden remix. All this stuff, what's happening in Israel, the worst it's been since 2014, Obama administration. The southern border, a big ass rush, the worst it's been since Barack Obama when he had kids in cages. The CDC with the whole COVID-19 ain't been as bad since, guess when? The Obama administration.
Right.
The last time he almost got $1 billion in stimulus relief because of Mr. Ivy. See, you trying to trigger me this morning, but I appreciate you letting me be the second call of the morning following our local political pundit, political activist, political insider. You know who I'm talking about, Black Russie. Shout out to the All Middle and their affiliates. But Mr. Ivy, Joe Biden and our mainstream media, I cannot believe they never asked him, well, what about when you were vice president, Joe Biden, and your president, Barack Hussein Obama, told you to go down to Central America and find out why all these people coming rushing our border. Oh, Joe Biden, go handle what's going on with Israel, Palestinians, and Hamas. Oh, Joe Biden, go fix this. Joe Biden, go cure cancer. But now that he's president, maybe he forgot when he was vice president. The media does not ask him, well, Mr. Biden, how are you handling this different from when you were vice president? Nope, they don't want to talk about it.
That's the reason why they don't ask that question, because it's an irrelevant question. It'll be a waste of their time.
Okay, well, see, before you lose any more listeners, before you lose any more people in the chop shop, because I'm triggering, well, maybe you could get the new Negro Whisperer for Joe Biden, Glenn from Mason, to come on and explain this debacle we've had for the last almost 30 days since the little so-called first 100-day honeymoon is over. It's a mess. And Joe Biden is on your watch. Come on, man. Drop Squad 52. Dropping science to anyone, especially Black not Democrat. Peace.
Go! There it is. Sorry, I had a chit chat with the wifey for a second. Appreciate you. Boy, that man is nuts. All I can say. He is nuts. No science, dropping anti-science. That's about it. TNT, right? No. Alicia, Asila writes, protect yourself, wear your mask. The honor system for determining who had the vaccine is a joke. Yes, it is. Yeah, I'm not for these Trader Joe's. Is that who it is? No mask. I don't trust it. Walmart, Trader Joe's, Costco say vaccinated customers don't have to wear masks. That's just not fair to everybody else that's not vaccinated. And it's too soon. It's way too soon. You know, we don't deserve those kind of freedoms as a species. We don't deserve that. TNT writes, I saw the national news and the spikes in Taiwan and India after cases brought down, and now they're seeing a surge causing them to shut back down. The way we're moving, we can be facing the same fate. Absolutely. Pat writes, good morning. Daryl writes, good morning. He writes, "Good morning, Nate and Choppers. Good morning to you." Terrence is in the house. He writes, she says, ditto to TNT, who writes, "I hate bullies." Yeah, Gabriel Taye got bullied, and I agree with the family. I think there was a connection between him committing suicide and what was happening in school. I talked to another mother, white female. She had a couple kids at Carson Elementary, and she came on and talked about how her kids got bullied. And then when she brought it up to the administrator over there, the administrator did nothing. And when I was listening to Donnie's flow near the end of her show, it's worth your time. Go back and check it out. It's great flow about the superintendent. It just reminded me all over again, like, oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Because Gabriel Taye, that happened under the leadership of the former superintendent, but Laura Mitchell had a leadership position inside of CPS. And then if you look at what they're doing right now, when you look at what CPS lawyers are arguing right now in court, saying they're not responsible to parents, they don't have to tell parents anything. You see that same attitude get played out in the schools. It's that same attitude. It's a trickle down attitude. So whoever the superintendent comes in here, I'm looking for 2 words in the next superintendent. Really 3 words. Serious change agent. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a superintendent that's going to come in here and get and move the effing needle for real and do whatever needs to be done in order to do so. But I mean, just because you a principal or superintendent don't mean that your chain can't get pulled. Think about the sister at I was reading about this over the weekend. They had a black female, and she was, hold on a second, let me pull up my notes. She was the because I see things over the weekend, I'll just make a little note of it. But she was the principal at Lakota Schools, Lakota East High School. And she was recently ordered to be put on leave, right? I read over the weekend that, would you like to know why the black principal was put on leave? This is one, could be one of the reasons, it could be multiple reasons, but this is something that was reported over the weekend. This is real news, right? The former principal, who was black, was a black female of Lakota East High School, was recently put on leave. Her lawyers are involved with the district and everything right now. And it seems like one of the issues was a change to the school's gender-specific graduation gown colors. So apparently what happened is, like, the tradition at Lakota East High School is that when it comes to graduation, that the girls will wear one color of gown and the boys will wear another color of gown. It's like black and white. So the black female principal came in and said, you know what? We're going to go to all black gowns. We're going to do away with the white gowns. I can't remember the white gowns, or the boys wore them, or the females or the males wore them. I can't remember. But apparently that was a big uproar up in Lakota East High School, to the point where the superintendent came in and basically gave an apology to the parents. And this woman, before she left, she had to issue an apology letter essentially to the parents saying, I'm sorry, I was going to change the gowns. We're going to go back to the traditional color. I'm thinking, what? Did the former black female principal of Lakota East High School lose her job because she wanted to change the gown color? The graduation gowns? I can't make this shit up. Like, this is real. The district apologized for it. Wow. Meanwhile, in Cincinnati, your kid can get bullied. Your kid can be called the N-word. Your kid can deal with intimidation. And depending on the personality and the disposition of the teachers and the administrators in that building, they may or may not do a damn thing about it. They may or may not do a goddamn thing. You might get lucky. So just like when black folks, have to deal with like those lights behind you, you don't know what's going on, right? You don't know who's behind you. You don't know what kind of the attitude of the officer is going to be. It's the same thing when you're dealing with CPS. You have no idea what the teacher's attitude is going to be. For black parents, you don't know if you're going to get yourself a racist teacher. You don't know if you're going to get you a Karen or a Darren. You don't know if you're going to get you one of these teachers that's got a problem with black kids that, don't bow down to them real quick and say yes or no, sir. You have no idea. And nobody's doing anything about it. And they're not going to do anything about it. They ain't going to do a damn thing. Them school board members ain't going to do a fucking thing. None of them. They're not going to do, they might talk some shit here or there, but they're not going to really do nothing. They're not going to put themselves on the line for change. And so that's what we need for the new superintendent. We need a superintendent that cares less about being there for multiple years and more about being a serious change agent, like seriously moving the needle no matter what. But the problem is also the electorate. Like, we put these school board members in there. We voted on them. Either you voted or you didn't vote. Either way, it was your actions or your inactions that led to some of those individuals being in those places. And some of them people, man, they've been there way too long. They way too comfortable on the school board. You got some school board members that are way too comfortable. Melanie Bates, just to say one. Now, you got to be comfortable to say some crap like that she said in public. And look what happened. She ain't go nowhere, did she? Nowhere. She took a picture with Bessie Sunderman to send a message to all the Republicans and the law and order folks or whoever the fuck else out there, the anti-vaxxers and all these people. And that was it. That was it. Y'all seen it for yourself. During the pandemic, members of the school board came out here and sounded like straight idiots. They sounded like damn fools in some cases. They sound like selfish, narcissistic individuals who don't give a damn about what you think. It only matters what they think. It's because they're comfortable. What you gonna do about it? Nothing. Who's created anything out here that could really put any pressure on the school board? Nobody. So, I mean, listen, if I was on the school board, I'd be like that too then. Shit. You know how adults are. You ain't gonna do nothing about it. What you gonna do about it? Nothing. Well, I'm gonna keep doing what I do. That's how adults are. That's how the real world works. That's how the real world works. All the smiles, all that shit goes to an end, and people show you who they really are. And whatever we built in this city is going to challenge it. Nothing. Zero. Telling you, I met some parents and listen to some of their issues. It'll shock you. And Laura Mitchell heard the same shit. Shit got back to her. There were people out there that were able to get to her and say things to her. She knew, but she busy. She got this whole big district. She can't be dealing with just, in many cases, just one particular issue here or there. Thought it was deep. You should check it out. If you missed it, last 20 minutes of the Is It Just Me podcast. Yes. Lucky me. Tabitha writes, America is a bully against racism. Let me see. DB went in like Tupac. I ain't no killer, but don't push me, LOL. She did. It was great flows. I was so proud. I was like, yeah, this is why we doing this. Yeah, I love it. Nothing like a great flow. Nothing like it. But I've seen all I need to see. I know what's going on now. When you're dealing with your school, when you're dealing with the teachers and the administrators at your school, it's just like dealing with the police. You have no idea who's going to show up. You have no idea what their attitude. You don't know if they're racist. You don't know if they're not racist. You don't know if they're dealing with bias. You don't know if they're having a bad day. It's just, you don't know what to expect. But we accept that, though. That's acceptable to us in Cincinnati because ain't nobody doing shit about it. We must accept that. 60% African American. That means that's a primary corridor for the educational future of our children. And we just hands off on it. Let me see. TNT writes, some police are bullies and the peoples that protect their corruption. Cass is in the house. She writes, hey, choppers. Good morning to you, Cass. Good to see you. Deborah writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you, Deborah. Tracy writes, people stay critical of CPS but keep their kids there. That's mind-boggling to me. If you can't change the district around, you move your kid. Really? Yeah, or you put your kid in Warner Hills. Or you make sure your kids get into one of the higher functioning and higher performing preschool, middle schools, elementary schools, shall I say, not middle, but elementary schools. That's the other option, Tracy. And you keep on banging on it until the right people start to do something about it. Natasha writes, Natasha Mitchell for Cincinnati City Council. Okay, Natasha, I see you. TNT writes, no finality on issues. Like DP said, they will have a file on your child as far as the eye can see that will follow them everywhere, but no file on teachers who violated contributing factors that cause your child to react. Exactly. Yeah. Well, just like when we had Youssef on and we had Elena on with the ACLU like 2 weeks ago, and they talked about the formal process and the informal process of discipline. The problem is that when it comes to like disciplinary issues at your school, the administrators have too much leeway with with not enough oversight. That's right there. There needs to be more oversight, more paperwork and documentation, even more so as to the interactions that they have, even informally. Because what will happen is you'll have a situation with a teacher, the teacher do something completely wrong. You sit down with the teacher, you sit down with the administrator, could be an assistant principal, could be the principal. If the teacher is wrong, the principal will sit there in front of you, because I've seen this, and say, you know what, that was wrong. And here's what you're going to have to do. When you walk out the door, that's probably where it ends. Like, unless teachers and administrators do something that pisses off the principal personally, and or it's just so egregious, like something sexual, nothing really is going to happen. They'll sit down and talk with them and say, well, what's going on with you, Jim? I'm going through that divorce. Yeah, how's Sally and the kids? Yeah, I'm sad to hear that, man, but you can't bring that to school. So listen, do you want to talk? I'm here, but let's make sure this don't happen anymore. Okay, you're right. I'll do better next time. And they walk out the door. That's what happens. That's what happens. Unless they do something, it's just like with the police and the police chief. Unless they do something that cannot be defended, and or they personally offend the person in charge, it's not gonna happen. Don't do a damn thing. TNT writes, you don't even need to be polite. You just need to know your rights. If you don't know your rights, you don't have any right. Yeah, that Alabama State trooper, it's worth your time to check out what the brother was saying. I think he comes from a good place, but I don't know about all that. Give me more. Give me more. Brent writes, good morning, Nate the Choppers, checking in from Dallas, Texas. Good morning to you. How do you patronize FC Cincinnati and fight gentrification at the same time? More effery. I'm on one today. Okay. Well, the way that you patronize FC Cincinnati and fight gentrification at the same time is kind of like, I think it's in two ways. So the West End is what it is right now. It's going to be what it's going to be. Wherever it's going to turn into is where it's going to go. So I think the issue now is, from this point on, what do we do? What do you do? Right? I think that's the issue. Okay, great. Right. So I think it's all about what they do from at this point moving on. And then the other thing is, you can fight gentrification in other neighborhoods. It's other neighborhoods. It's the next West End. Glenn writes, oh, they played soccer yesterday. I got a stiffy. Not. Yeah, Black Russia was really into the whole national thing. That's cool. That's cool. I want Cincinnati to win. So Cincinnati get national press. That I can see how that could be good for business, even down the road where people might not even think about it. You know what I'm saying? Just having Cincinnati on national press, and there's an FC Cincinnati team, could be good for tourism. It could be good for, who knows, you could have potential people that's looking to move their HQ. They turn on ESPN or wherever the show was televised, and they see, oh, never thought of Cincinnati. Let me look into Cincinnati. It could happen like that. And it could be like 6 degrees of separation. I think it's good. I think, that's what, at this point, since we made the deal, I just want to see the best deal possible moving forward. That's it. Tabitha writes, FCC keep losing. It's a curse from the West End. Woody writes, Cincinnati Pro teams are garbage. Well, we got another team. We get national exposure to keep losing. I think that cities should have a winning clause because, sure, just having a team gives you some level of visibility no matter how good the team is. But when you have a team that's good, that makes the playoffs, that has a winning record, that's even better for the city. Okay. And I think that when cities like Cincinnati into stadium deals, they should have a clause that has something to do with, the amount of wins that they bring to the table. That should be a part of the deal because when you win, we win. When you got a team that's thriving, exciting, and competitive, that makes it even better for the whole city. And when you don't, it makes it less better. That's how I look at it. Clifford writes, put that in one hand and a pile of boo-boo in the other and see what? And see which one of you have more of. Black Russia, how is your life enriched by having a stadium in the West End? How is the life of Cincinnatians enriched by having a stadium in the West End? I'm sure there's people that can answer that question way better than I could. Jeff Birding was lying to us at those community council meetings. FC Cincinnati was lying to Cincinnati from the jump. When they lied and said they was thinking about looking at Oakley and looking at Northern Kentucky, they never were. Now, I knew that already because I had read through some of those early documents that MLS was putting out there. Because at the time, and I think even now, they were looking for host teams. And so they had a set of criteria that they were looking for. And I read those documents. I thought, oh, that describes the West End. And ding, 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 just last week, you had the MLS commissioner. He came to Cincinnati and said just as much. He said, we always wanted to be in the West End. It's like, wait a minute. Then why were you lying? Because they were trying to leverage one community against another to get what they really wanted. They wanted the best deal. And they got a pretty sweet deal. TNT writes, the votes were there for FC Cincinnati no matter how she voted. So Nathan's assessment is still right. That's what I thought. Remember the school board? Remember these same people they gave in at FC Cincinnati? I remember I talked to Carolyn Jones about it shortly thereafter. She said essentially that she had to go along with the deal because if she didn't, then city council was going to try to use eminent domain. And when I asked her, well, let them use eminent domain and stick by your principles, she had no answer. She had no answer, but I'm sure she had her reasons. And again, a lot of people look at that deal and say it was a great deal. I got family members that are excited about it and have never been to a soccer game and probably never will go to it. I got an uncle that's all about FC Cincinnati, never been to a game. He just loves the idea of it. He thinks it's exciting. So Corinne writes, and good morning, Corinne, how are you? She writes, community benefits agreements are part of the legislation related to opportunity zones. Tabitha writes, other than being on the map, look at the neighborhood and surrounding area. It's still ghetto. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Glenn writes, black dude at FC Cincinnati match in a David Mann Amadeus wig? ? Jesus, take the wheel, Jesus. Jesus, take the wheel, please. Lynn writes, $100,000 community fund. Yeah. I like a $500,000 community fund a lot better, though. A whole lot better. A Black Russian. Did he live in the West End? Maxine writes, grand risings everyone in the West End. Some of these Mexican puppets and white people are starting their racist BS already. The other day, this Mexican woman had vicious dogs around the elementary school. Really? Is that right? Akeem writes, ain't nothing shining black in OTR but the murals. Anthony writes, I'd like to see what the job numbers at the stadium are. How many blacks work there, in what position, also what the pay is. Correctamundo, Anthony. Like I said, we're going to find out really, really soon. Like, give it a few years, but then people will start to do assessments and reports and analysis, and we'll find out how many new money millionaires were made. We'll find out how many black new money millionaires were made. We'll find out how many black-owned businesses are interacting and working. We could be completely satisfied. We could be shocked. I don't know. I'm just saying it's going to take some time for, the wheel of commerce to get the rolling. And then we can look at the numbers and decide as to whether we think it's a good deal. One thing is for certain, though. No matter what we find out in the near future, the lenders and the other families involved, they set for life. Like Cincinnati taxpayers gave the lenders and every generation that comes after the current generation lifetime revenue, lifetime ownership. They got a big piece in the local pie here. And Cincinnati residents gave primarily the grandsons of the people that made the West End an attractive destination the opportunity to go buy popcorn, and maybe you'll get a job making $10 an hour, hustling pizzas for Cincinnati's elites. So that seems like a fair trade-off. The lenders and the other majority ownership family, they get lifetime legacy on the ownership level. And what did the community get? You got displacement, up the value of the homes, up the rent of the homes, and you got the opportunity to maybe one day you can work at the stadium too. And you can sell big pretzels to Cincinnati's elites for $11 an hour. Seems like a fair trade-off to me. Yeah, no. Let me see. Glenn writes, so what about judicial races? Yeah, they don't matter, especially in Cincinnati. Stop it. Yeah, he was talking about Eddie Davenport. I don't know. That could be right. That could be a ripple effect from Derek Bauman. I don't know. I'm not close enough inside the Democrat Party to tell you. I don't get that kind of information, so I don't know. You see, Pamela writes, until you do right by me, everything you think about is going to fail. Sarah writes, good morning, family. Good morning to you. Glenn writes, William O'Neill, Russia. Sister Iris writes, good morning, great people. Good to see you. Let me see. More comments are coming in here. Dropped on head is on the air. Tiff writes, the MLS says it's a world-class stadium, maybe the best in MLS right now. And they know better than we do. I'm looking forward to seeing the new stadium. They know better than we do, sure. They got a lot more insights on soccer stadiums, but they also have a profit incentive in telling us it's the best stadium ever. Maybe it is the best stadium ever. I don't know. I'm not impressed by shit I don't really own. Like, I'm not impressed by the stadium because I don't get any money out of it. I see it for what it is. It's a trap. People talk about trapping, creating, these spots for revenue, trap, whatever. It's just a sports trap. They get you in there, you're a captivated audience, and they sell you stuff for higher prices than you would pay for it if you weren't in there. That's the whole concept around a stadium. That's why everything costs more, because you're a captive audience. That's why they can charge you $2-3 more for a beer, $2-3 more for a bag of Doritos. You ever been to a stadium like a slice of pizza costs what? Damn, add $1, I can get a whole pizza from Little Caesar. Yeah, but you're captive. So you ain't going nowhere, and they know that. So you're gonna pay for it right there when you get hungry, And they got people convinced that buying overpriced food is part of the fun. It's like, what a wonderful business, man. God damn, we should all be so lucky to get us a stadium. And people will willingly pay more because it's part. Gotta have a hot dog. Gotta get some popcorn. I gotta get a brew. So they slide $4-5 on there. $9. And guess what? People gonna pay it because they're captive. They want to stay. They want to go back to their seats. They want to hear the roar of the crowd. Damn. So smart. Props to the lenders, man. Y'all. That's why y'all billionaires. Cass writes, we didn't think Biden was going to eradicate COVID completely. You assume we all thought that drop because you compare it to the first wankster president who did absolutely nothing. Anything is a step up from that. Yeah, drop was out there talking about y'all thought that Joe Biden was going to come in here in one day and snap his fingers, and the benevolent white person, because the Democrats got all the good white folks, that was going to change COVID overnight. I never thought that. I just thought that we would have somebody that wasn't lying on television about COVID every day. I'll take that. Like after Trump, or during Trump, the bar was so low. I just wanted a president that wasn't going to lie to me every day about it. Can we start right there? Can the president stop lying about COVID? So, and I'll be honest with you, I hope I never see Donald Trump in front of a microphone ever again. I do not miss the experience whatsoever. The Trump administration was a terrible experiment. It was terrible. I hated it. I hated every bit of it. I can't say I hated every bit of it because it gave us a lot to talk about. So from that standpoint, it was kind of fun. But as an American citizen detached from media, the mood was just so bad. So bad. Deaf rights, survival mode is why some in Black America ride so hard for America. I understand, but it's still hard to listen to. Mm-hmm. Terrence writes, that's true, but it has been trending that way over the last 2 elections. There really shouldn't be much of a fight to keep these seats in dim control unless the voters make Democrats pay across the ballot. Dale writes, windbag is full of lies. I think he's talking about Charlie Winburn. Really? Glenn writes, drop has MAGA side effects. What is the hell? I don't know what a MAGA side effect is. I don't know. Let me take a quick break, family. Let me take a quick pause. I'll come right back. About 3 minutes, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. It's the Nathan Ivey Show. I'm live, I'm local, and local.
Set the potato, sunlight that always stays, dinner by the waterway. It's that sweet life. Raise your cross. Made some dude crack a smile. He asked if I could stay a while. I'm living that high life. Time to catch a flight, but you can make me go. Unlocking all the memories of my new home. Ventilated echoes playing to and fro. Back and forth, yeah. Caught some kids dancing in the alleyway. Crazy how the melodies began to play, yeah. Tell me how you feeling when you hear the lyric, yeah. My heart's in Stockholm. Now I never wanna go home. I left my heart in Stockholm. Now I never wanna go home. Shopping the girl, I brought a girl on my Vespa. She said I already told ya, yeah. I never dated a black guy. I said you're brown yourself. Let me offer help. Come on inside, where everybody knows your name, everybody knows your name. Time to catch a flight, but you can make me go. Unlocking all the memories of my new home. Ventilated echoes playing to and fro, back and forth, yeah. Caught some kids dancing in the alleyway. Crazy how the melodies began to play, yeah. Tell me how you feeling when you hear the lyric, yeah. My heart's in Stockholm. Now I never wanna go home. I left my heart in Stockholm. Now I never wanna go home. Separate again. Ooh, ooh, sunlight that always stays in and by the waterway. It's that sweet life, sweet life, sweet life. I never wanna go home, go home. I'm living in Stockholm, Stockholm. I never wanna go home, go home. Living in Stockholm, Stockholm. I never wanna go home, go home. I'm living in Stockholm, Stockholm. Yeah. Shut up, I got the
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for that time. I appreciate you. Good morning, and good morning. Where are you? Yeah, so coming up today at 12 noon, Tiffany Daniels is back, everybody, with another episode. Today, she'll be speaking with Nadia Ruffin, a.k.a. Urban Farm Sister. And this is a very timely conversation, especially with so many questions about the cicadas. And I can't think of somebody better to talk to about that and other issues. So that's today at 12 noon right here on CDM's Facebook page. You can check it out. And looking forward to that. So that's Nadia Ruffin. A lot of folks are already aware of Urban Farm Sister. You know, we spoke with her maybe like a year or so, maybe a little bit more than that. But very timely conversation. Very timely conversation. Plus, you can plug into what she's doing with her Agri Academy. So that's today at 12 noon. So make sure you check that out. Good morning to you. Let me throw the number up on the big board there so people can give us a call if you want to. Boom, there it is. I don't know what those lights behind me are doing. They're just doing whatever they want to do today. I guess that works. I mean, if it don't bother you, it don't bother me. There it is. There it is. Good morning to you. How are you? So what are we talking about today? Well, we're talking about numerous things. The CDC says that if fully vaccinated people can be outside and even be indoors in some cases and not wear a mask. I'm urging all my listeners to stay masked up, even if you're vaccinated. Let's be smarter than everybody else out there and just err on the side of caution. Even if you're vaccinated, mask up. Why? Well, because there are reports out there of people who are fully vaccinated but still contracting COVID. And you just don't want to be a carrier. All right. You want to be smart about it with your family and everybody. I know people are about to go nuts. I can tell, man. People are starving to get out there. I wish I would had in the restaurant or nightclub business, man, because you about to make a guapa, big old piles of money. People want to get out and be social. They want to have sex. They want to drink. They want to date. They want to look cute. They want to take their mask off. They want to talk. They want to dance. They want to do all these kind of things, right? They want to go eat with their girlfriends on a patio and have some drinks and cocktails. And that time is coming. And for many of you, that time might even be here. I read that they're bringing the black taste back. It's going to be over at Yateman's Cove. So it's going to be a little something different. We'll see how that goes. And Everybody's waiting for the next concert venue. People just waiting for everything. Wait a minute. Somebody's saying, oh, okay, yeah. That was earlier. Yeah. I remember that. TNT writes, Nathan, do you have those stats through on CPS schools and how they are failing miserably? No, I don't have what Donnie had. I mean, but you can find this information on, I think it's the Ohio Department of Education website, and just look up Cincinnati or CPS schools, and you can look at school by school and look at the last ratings, and they're terrible. Across the board, CPS is a failing school district, but everybody's sad to see Laura Mitchell go. And is it because we're not really performance-based? Or are we personality based? And I think it's because, like I said, we're personality based. Everybody wants to be polite in Cincinnati, and the politeness is part of what's killing us. We're too polite to have the conversations and hold people accountable the way we really need to. It rarely happens. And so when it does happen, just like what I did with the school board, everybody acts like that's a big deal. That should be commonplace. It should be commonplace. You pick on the phone, you open up the phone, you should hear these conversations. But depending on who's having the conversation and where you are, everybody's got their own agenda, their own viewpoints. So it is what it is. JD writes, Dr. Jonathan Brown for CPS superintendent. Somebody writes, Yada Mack is the principal you were talking about. Strong sister, very dedicated to kids, product of CPS schools, by the way. Marvin Coing, former principal of Walnut Hills, had to issue an apology to students and parents when he decided that he was changing the gowns from black and gold to black because, in his opinion, it was collegiate. Fighting over cap and gowns that parents pay for isn't a new problem. Many principals have found themselves in that losing battle. Is that right, Danita? That's the dumbest shit. If that's true, that sounds dumb as hell. Over some cap and gowns? It sounds dumb as hell. That sounds dumb as hell. So you get parents to get upset about a cap and gown, but not get upset about issues that have a far more impactful on the day-to-day well-being of their children. That is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Terrence writes, either you voted or you didn't vote. Absolutely. Tabitha writes, parents need to be included in voting about COS issues. It should be mandatory. Pamela writes, girl power. Tabitha writes, we should help her with a petition. Terrence writes, who gonna check me, boo? TNT writes, my alma mater, Aiken stats are pathetic, but really no difference since I graduated. I was that small percentage accepted into UC four-year college, and the only other fellow student I recognized was Tamaya Denard, who was an upperclassmate. Everyone else was ushered to two-year college. They are not making our kids college ready. Irish writes, something that's so true. The power is in the people. The people don't know it. Absolutely. You're so right about that. Janice writes, Walnut Hills and CPS have just as much, SCPA have just as much dysfunction as any other school. They just don't talk about it in the media as they do at other schools. When you say dysfunction, you talking about, things that don't go right, issues, disrespect of the family and kids, black kids, are black kids safe? That whole conversation. I mean, can't speak for SCPA, but Walnut Hills, absolutely. 100%. Sandra writes, good morning, Choppers. Good morning to you, Sandra. Good to see you. Tabitha writes, I used to take my son out of CPS because they kept suspending him. He has disabilities. I put him in charter. He is a student. They just needed some time and counsel, no meds like CPS suggested. Danita writes, yeah, whatever. He canceled so many things that were traditions at Walnut. What year were you there? Because maybe you came when he was already taking everything. Maxine writes, only black people don't know it. Right. Crystal writes, good morning, Nate and Choppers. Happy Monday. Terrence writes, can we understand one thing? In order to fight gentrification, people need to own their own buildings and buy up the block. We just can't be shouting for it to stop without doing anything, but asking for it to stop. Well, he said, I'm with him. Edward writes, question, CC says it's okay to relax mask protocols, so some are in disagreement. It's being determined that children of a certain age are not required to be vaccinated. So y'all think we ain't gonna never go back to normal? We have been so fearful of COVID that we aren't trusting those who were put in place to keep us safe. I'm vaccinated, so I'm good. If you worry, so go get the damn shot and shut your face up. Vaccine is to make us safe. I could care less if the other folk ain't vaccinated. That's on their dumb asses. Well, I think, Edward, that just because you're vaccinated doesn't mean you shouldn't wear a mask. I'm urging all of my listeners that even if you're vaccinated, to continue to wear your mask. And let's do it on a month-to-month basis and see how it goes. Why? Because you can still get COVID if you're vaccinated. You can still transmit COVID if you're vaccinated. So it's just about basic sense. Basic sense. Charles writes, soccer, meh. Jeff Birding is the Nino Brown of Cincinnati, LMFAO. He definitely gets shit done. When you need somebody to sell something to the public that they absolutely don't need, you call Jeff Birding. And he'll lead the charge. Like, we absolutely didn't need another Bengal stadium deal, but we got one. And we absolutely didn't need a stadium for FC Cincinnati, but we got one. Terrence writes, it was cheaper to acquire the property in the West End than in Oakley. We have to look at some of the basic things that make these situations what they are. Charles writes, I knew FC Cincinnati was lying about Oakley due to the fact that it's already too congested. Yeah, they was lying their asses off. We're going to go to Oakley. Sure you are. Let me jump inside the chop shop because people, man, Anthony's on fire, man. Thank you so much for all your posts, Anthony and Crystal and Glenn and Deborah Nesbitt and Brent. Thank you. So Akeem. I appreciate you guys, man. It means everything. It means everything. Thank you very, very much. Where is this at? That's hilarious. Angela. Appreciate you, Angela. Crystal. Did I say Crystal? TNT. Just looking back at the people who are posting in here on a regular basis. I appreciate you. And again, I go here every day. Source of information and inspiration for me as well, in terms of trying to figure out what we're going to talk about and what the topic's going to be, man. I mean, I can spend all day talking about any one of these things. There's so much in the news on a regular basis. I'm reading that Juneteenth is now an official paid holiday here in Hamilton County. But as I understand, that happened last year, right? Let me check this out. That was from last year. I think so. Yeah, I think it was from last year. Let me give you a heads up. Coming up today at 12 noon, you have the next episode of the Community Connector podcast. If you're not hip to this podcast, you might be interested. I say might because it's up to your particular taste. Tiffany Daniels, based here in the city of Cincinnati, she talks a lot. She has a guest on every show. So the guests are like the focus of every show. She has a lot of guests on that deal with personal finances, wealth building, real estate, Bitcoin, anything that's about, personal finances and wealth building typically is her wheelhouse. Today, she's going to be speaking with Nadia Ruffin. Nadia Ruffin, aka Urban Farm Sister. And I think this is a well-timed conversation because cicadas are coming this week, right? Everybody's supposed to be afraid of cicadas. I don't give a damn about no goddamn cicadas at all. I'm not afraid of the cicadas one bit. Danita writes, eminent domain means you get nothing. They take your property and you are left with nothing. At least they were able to get some money to build the new stadium. Terrence writes, the area around the stadium wasn't ghetto. I walked blocked around near the stadium, went out to eat down the street, and not once did I feel insecure in my environment. Rachel writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you, Rachel. Good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Irish writes, ownership has its privileges. Gotta be. Nate gotta Nate gotta have some popcorn. See, I knew it. Hey, I ain't mad at who said that, Maxine. I ain't mad at you, Maxine. I'm not saying, I understand. That's an amazing business. Just like when you go to the movies, a lot of people got to get the movie popcorn. Now it's $1 overpriced. That's how they making their money. But people want it. It's convenient, and you want it for the experience. Damn, they got us good. All right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Guy, how you doing?
Oh, Fame. Good morning. How you doing, brother? Doing well.
That's wonderful to hear, man. I just called because I heard some of your inconsistencies and they brought out the ire in me.
Good. Like what?
You were talking about how the black lady principal up at Lakota West was fired under some weak circumstances.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Nothing concrete, but maybe.
Oh, okay. I don't understand how you call those circumstances weak. The parents called and complained. Much like you and Donnie B did to get rid of the black lady in Cincinnati.
What black lady in Cincinnati?
Laura Mitchell, who you think I'm talking about?
Oh, man, Dan, you giving me way too... You think we got way more power than we really do, bro.
I think maybe y'all think y'all got more power than you really do. No. Because what you did is you poured a hatchet job on that black woman and ran her out of here.
I'm flattered.
And you should be ashamed of yourself.
Brother Fang. Yeah. I'm flattered. But I don't have that kind of... If I had that kind of pull, I wouldn't be pulling it. I'd be making some shit happen that really matters. I don't have that kind of pull. I'm flattered you think that, though, but I don't have that. Let me just correct you, bro. I don't have that kind of pull.
I like how you are backing away from your hatchet job.
I'm just letting you know.
But that crime scene up at Burnett, Burnett Avenue is on your hands. You and Donnie have blood on your hands from that. You two went damn John Gotti and Sammy the Bull on that woman, tag teamed her, Russie Johnson and damn Tony Atlas that went tag team on her and just totally messed up her existence. It's not funny. You should not be commended for it. You should be ashamed of yourself. There's only so many professional black women that come into this town and work, and you two ran off the most important one. How do you feel about how do you look yourself in the mirror after knowing what you did to that woman?
Well, again, brother,
knowing you played a part in her demise.
I'm flattered that you think so highly of me. I'm flattered.
Oh, you did. You took the Walnut Hill stuff and ran with it.
I'm just saying, bro.
No. Don't be just saying nothing. Be saying about what you did with Walnut Hill.
Energy. I want to make sure I give you the right energy. I'm flattered. Genuinely, I am. Did you think I got that kind of pull? But I don't, bro. I don't have that.
You're flattered. You know what you're doing? You're doing exactly what they were saying shouldn't happen on Ed and the Hal show. I'm the cop pulling you over. You're smiling and being nice, trying to de-escalate the situation.
No, I'm just giving it to you.
That's
facts.
Exactly what's going on here. You should be ashamed.
No, I'm not.
That woman's blood is on your hands, B.
What I'm doing is acknowledging that my brother, you, have a high opinion of me. I'm acknowledging that. But then I'm correcting you so that you don't go out and say this somewhere else around people that ain't going to show you as much love as I am. I'm like, listen, I appreciate the love you giving me. Thank you. But I don't
I'd rather be feared than loved.
If I had those kind of strings on Laura Mitchell, this school district, a whole lot of other shit would have been happening before that. So again, I'm flattered, brother, but I don't have that kind of sway.
I'd rather be feared than loved because the fear lasts longer. And right now, superintendents around Cincinnati Republic area are afraid of you and the black lady attorney because if y'all don't like them, y'all gonna tag team and run them out of town. You put so much pressure to that woman to open up, to close Walnut Hill, but let all the other people walk into the demise. You know, you did all that to her. Y'all pressured her. I'm telling you, this is not cool what you all have done. Y'all need to check yourself before you wreck yourself.
You can't even finish it. You can't even finish it. So he know he full of shit too. He just want to stir the pot this morning. But again, brother, come on now. Stop it. Appreciate you, man. I know I got superlative flows and every once in a while, you know, we'll have a classic show. I appreciate that. But saying that, and I know you meant this super, super sarcastically. You weren't taking it seriously, but saying that I got it kind of power, no. Because if I did, I would have been changing shit a long time ago. So no. And Laura Mitchell, I took her for her word. She spoke to it in the meeting. She said, if any one person or people think that y'all did this, y'all basically need to wake the fuck up. And she's right. What have you seen from CPS that would make you think that they give a damn about what one parent thinks? Nothing. Nothing. They didn't even care about what the CFT thought during COVID. And their lives were on the line. So what made you think about they care about what one or two parents think? I mean, you might have to be able to carve a personal relationship here or there, but CPS is a machine. That's bigger than just one person, but he's a lot of fun, man. He's a lot of fun. He wild. And then he couldn't even keep up the charade, right? He couldn't keep the shtick going. Cicadas are already here, are they? I can't wait to see them. I'm looking forward to the cicadas, quite honestly. I hope they swarm over the city and blot out the sun. I do. And I'll sit on my porch and relax and just laugh. Because I think people that think insects are scary are the funniest thing. I'll be honest with you. I get it. The father in me, I lose my patience when my kids are like afraid of insects. I'm like, it's a fucking spider. But dad, my son is on the porch having a good time. A bee whizzes by 3 feet away from him. He's like looking for the bees. I'm like, man, what if you don't relax, boy? But dad, the bees. I don't care about no damn insects. So right now I got a daddy do list. Like on our porch, there's like a little bitty hole on the porch. And in that hole is a bumblebee hive. How do we know? We keep seeing the bees go in and out. Every time I go outside, my wife is like, the bees. I'm just oblivious to it. I forget it's out there because these insects don't want me. That's what I keep trying to tell my family, but they're all like bee sensitive. Have you ever been stung before? No. I've been stung before twice. It ain't that bad. I even had it once where you look down like, damn, what just happened? And the stinger is moving around embedded in your skin. You just plop it out, throw it away. That's what kids do. Run some water on it. Keep on playing. Come on now. They're insects. And these little insects coming out, they're not going. That's just protein for the environment. That's all that is. That's protein for the birds and the squirrels. That's it. Man, let me see if I can show you something here. This is on WCPO's website. People are getting creative to avoid cicadas. Like people are creating I'm looking at a homemade anti-cicada device. Essentially, somebody took some clear plastic, some duct tape, and an umbrella, and they created a whole covering walking around with the umbrella, and then the plastic is draped around them, completely around their body, all the way down to their knees. I'm not doing no shit like that. I'm going to use this. It's called the brush off method. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not running around here looking like a damn fool. You want to see this? You think I'm making it up, huh? All right, let me show you this real quick. I'm going to screenshot this from WCPO's website. Hopefully I don't get a copyright strike, Facebook. Y'all lost y'all fucking mind. Look at this. Look at that. Somebody, is this what you're doing out here? Raise your hand if you think that you would rock something like that. I'd rather have a cicada on me, man. I'm not going to do that. I remember one got on my back. You can feel they got a little bit of weight to them. And I've had them on my arms and legs and shit. They're going to jump on you because they're like, what is this? I detect heat. Because apparently they're blind, right? So we'll be okay, family. TNT writes, have you seen Underground on Amazon yet? I have not. Suikawa writes, I absolutely believe there was pressure to score high on ACT, SAT, etc. But I'm also speaking especially for our CPS elementary schools who are currently spending the past 2 weeks of school taking standardized tests. They test twice a year, and the report grades for schools are solely based off these scores. See, OJ Wellburn's in the house. What's up, brother OJ? OJ, that's the Wellbone experience. Good morning, Nathan in the choppers, he writes. Hashtag TWE. Brent writes, hyperbole at its best or at its worst. Darlene writes, happy Monday, Nate in the choppers. OTR in the house. Okay, what's up in the OTR? Have your property values gone up? That's a big conversation right now. Are you going to be priced out? Tamika writes, Grand Risings, choppers, make it a great day. You already know. Sarah writes, she's making a hell of a lot more money for Beach Acres. Is she? You think she make more money working for Beach Acres than running CPS? I would think she's making more money for CPS. It may not be that far away, so she's getting a whole lot less visibility, a whole lot less headache. She ain't got to deal with no school board, and she got to deal with the board of directors over there. I don't know. Sometimes it's not all about the money. Tamika writes, your expressions, listen to Fame, are everything. He's out there. Fame is out there. Jericho writes, kids are so dramatic about insects. Yes, they are. Kids and wives are dramatic about insects. Kids and wives. Like, spiders. I'm like, my wife tells me about every spider's in the house. Every single one. Like, I may not get all the details, but if there's a spider in the house, we've been sitting, she'd be like, I forgot to tell you, 2 weeks ago, there was a spider in the bathroom. Like, I'm responsible for this shit, right? That's why she's telling me. And she doesn't say it, but part of it's like, nigga, you need to get on your JOB and spray this house, right? I'm like, do you understand what that means when I spray the house? It means everything is toxic and right? I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Every insect my wife kills, I get a full report on it. Janice writes, Nate, I did not receive your rant about the cicadas. Terrence writes, protein for the environment. That's right. That's all they are. Rachel writes, you need to get the hidden hive off your porch. The bigger it gets, the more damage to your property. Yeah, I'm going to spray it. I'm telling you, my wife is like overboard, just like my kids, about insects. We got a bumblebee nest above our porch, right? And I told her, I'm like, well, I'm just going to take some spray and spray it in there. She's like, you really want to do that? You might want to call the professionals. I'm like, I'm going to spray it and then I'm going to come in the house. I'm not going to sit out there in a bee suit. But, it's got to be done. It's got to be taken care of. Like me personally, if it was just me living alone, I would let them stay there. They're like insect guard dogs because I don't have a problem with bumblebees and stuff like that. They don't really bother me. Sounds like carpenter bees. I don't even think they sting. They might even think. Yeah. Every ant. Dad, you see an ant? My son. I'm like, you mean that thing right there? He's like, yeah. Yeah, I see it. And it's an ant, Dad. I'm like, okay. Darlene writes, my sister and I just did this on Saturday. Greg writes, cicadas are blind. I didn't know that. Yeah, I think they are. Did you see yesterday's Inquirer has 3 cicada recipes? I think that's downright despicable. It's just nasty. It's nasty. Am I above eating a cicada? No, I'm not. It depends on the situation. So, if I got money, if I'm not hungry, if I'm like in a survival situation or something like that, and it's like, I got to eat this or eat nothing. Oh, we're going to pop the wings off, throw it down real quick. Rinse it down with some swamp water. Floss my teeth with a blade of grass, something like that. Let me see. Terrence writes, if there's a spider in the house, it's doing its job. Sarah writes, let's talk about the Palestinian problem. I marched with their community yesterday to expose what's going on in Israel. I'm down for that conversation. I need to get caught up to speed a little bit, but I'm down for that. Anthony writes, SWAT standoff in Avondale. Person holed up in a house on Rockdale. Is that right? Huh. Terrence writes, I've eaten cicadas before. What? Damn. TNT writes, call professionals. They will take over your house once you anger them. The kids knocked over a nest just fooling around and had my backyard filled with angry bees. I had to call my dad to get that ish. See, I'm dad, and dad's going to handle it. I might handle it today, as a matter of fact. I'm going to move all the furniture that's on the perch, swing up there. I'm gonna make their place, and I'm gonna make it toxic. And it's not gonna be like Chernobyl up in there, and they're gonna leave, and that's gonna be it. And I'm gonna be the hero. Yes, insects allow husbands to be and boyfriends to be the hero. We can be valiant. Oh, I got that spider. Yeah, what would we do without that? Thank you, Mother Nature. Mother Nature looking out for us. Brandy Rice, good morning. Ray Rice here. Sharp Rice, good morning, Nate and the Choppers on this soggy Monday. Richard Williams, blunt ass writes, y'all be acting like you hate the alt middle when you know you love us. It makes y'all look like one of the Michael Jackson siblings. Everybody knows it's fake. Morning to you, Politically Petty Show. Ray Rice, thumbs. Okay, great. Brenda Rice, happy Monday. Miss D Rice, greetings. Sharp Rice, FCC sucks. Another money grabbing scheme. Ray Rice, Cincinnati was on nationwide television when Ray Tensing was murdered. Brent Rice, Grand Risings family, giving a shout out to the Palestinian community who I marched in solidarity with yesterday to protest the killing of innocent citizens due to the unauthorized settlements, to include the historical apartheid and occupation of that company. Sharp Rice, they using them kids for photo ops. See David Mann. Iona Rice, good morning, Choppers, listening from sunny Puerto Rico. What? You down in Puerto Rico? Damn, you on vacay? Damn, what's the weather like? David writes, how is it my wife will play with snakes and spiders but scared of cicadas? Sounds confusing. It does sound confusing, but you just got to go with the flow. Marcia writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you, Marcia. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Let me jump around a little bit so I can give you the latest news that you can possibly use in our last 20 minutes together on a Monday. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you? Good morning. The city of Columbus has agreed to pay a record $10 million to the family of Andre Hill. That's the black man who was gunned down by a cop while holding a phone. This happened back on May 14th. This is turning around very quickly. Very quickly. Remember the video? He was standing in what appeared to be a driveway and was shot by Adam Coy. Adam Coy was fired from the Columbus Division of Police within days. And now there's a settlement of $10 million. That seems to be the going price. Somewhere around $7 to $12 million is what you're going to get if the police unlawfully kill your family member. Somewhere between $7 and $12 million is what you can expect. A dash cam showed that the Michigan police violently arrested a black man in his own driveway after claiming that he ran a stop sign. But then some people he had a dash cam in his car, and I recommend that everybody have a dash cam. Like, they have dash cams that you can purchase for about $100. It'll plug into, either you can get a converter so it plugs into the cigarette lighter or something like that. And or you have like a USB or some kind of connection you can plug it into. And it's got a dual camera. It's got a camera that will look inside of what's happening inside the car, and one that looks outside the window. You should have that for accidents. You might get into a fender bender and it's your word against their word, but now you've got the tape. And also, if you're like an Uber driver or something like that, you got people in your car, you want to make sure that you protect yourself. About $100, I think you can find something like that. And so this is crazy here. Michigan police stopped a black man. He pulled over in his driveway, got out of his car, and the police just came over to him and, did what the police do. Simple as that. He says he was tackled, handcuffed, and arrested. He now has a federal lawsuit. He's seeking monetary damages. Thurman King is a 55-year-old black man. He was driving from work to his home in Rockford, Michigan, which is a predominantly white suburb of Grand Rapids. It was back in March of 2019 When he got about a half a block from home, he noticed a police car with his lights flashing behind him. He pulled into his driveway, got out of his car to ask why he was being stopped. Moments later, as I told you, he was tackled, handcuffed, and arrested. He was arrested by 2 officers. One of them is no longer a police officer on the force. The other is. Let me see here. I might even be able to show us a video of what actually happened, like the dash cam. And you got to play this kind of stuff because some people think you can just be polite or just be nice or something like that. Matter of fact, I can show this to you. So let me see if I can find this. I think I can. Give me 1 second. And we can actually look at the dash cam. I just love the world that we live in these days where we can just plug into what's happening and play it for ourselves. Check this out.
8606 stop.
8606, go ahead.
He's springing West Prospect. He's still driving up here. He might be jumping out. Hold on. Show me your hand. Show me your hand. Why are you not stopping?
Compliant. Houston, please northwest me in for emergency traffic.
Stop pulling away. Stop pulling away from me.
We're on Prospect.
Stay there. Do not move. Do not move.
Behind Prospect.
Stop pull away from me. I'm not. And you're not fighting. I'm not. Then put your hands behind your back and listen to what I'm telling you. What are you doing, man? Oh, man. Oh! 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 Man! Oh! 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 Oh my God! Burn! Burn! Oh! Mercy! Oh! Yes! Stop! Mercy! Stop! Stay back! Stay back! Stay back!
I want to plug back in real quick to let you know what we're looking at. We're looking at the dash cam video of an arrest that took place back in March of 2019. The black man who you hear calling out and help, and he's calling for somebody, his name is Thurman King, 55-year-old black man. He was driving home from work in Rockford, Michigan, which is a predominantly white suburb of Grand Rapids. He got about a half a block from his home. He knows the police were behind him. He pulled over in his own driveway, got out of the car, and started asking why he was stopped. Moments later, as you saw, he was tackled and handcuffed and arrested. His lawyer, and through his lawyer, he has filed a federal lawsuit. He's seeking monetary damages. He says the 2 officers allegedly abused him. And the lawsuit alleges that the officers violated his constitutional rights by arresting him for unsubstantiated traffic violations and falsely incarcerating him without probable cause. Quote, stopping someone just because you can and putting information in a police report about something that is not accurate, that he ran through a stop sign, leads to difficulties that should not have to occur to someone just because they're driving while black trying to get home. My thing is, even if he ran through a stop sign, that's what we're doing out here. But we have allowed police officers to move with near impunity. We have given them immunity. We have given them the license to do whatever they want to do. And so many of them do. When asked as to why he didn't stop immediately, he said that he was scared and he didn't know what the police officer's intentions were. We're starting to see a lot of that. That's the one part about these police stops, and it seems like the world just won't understand, is that due to everything that we've seen in terms of the interaction between black people and police, many melanated people, many people who are not white, are fearful. We don't know what their intentions are. Why would we pull over in a dark area when we can drive a mile down the road and be around in the light and be in a more populated area? Because people don't trust you. And you know who I blame for that? I blame the police. It is your fault. It is your fault. It's your fault because look at what you have been doing. You have caused this. It's the ones that do it and the ones that sit back and don't say anything when it's done. It is what it is. It is what it is. But you tell me, 513-873-7134. I'll keep my eyes on that. We'll watch and see. Rachel writes, you could hear the fear in his voice. You could. Janice writes, so effing unnecessary just for a traffic violation? Yeah, just for a traffic violation. Yeah, because, I mean, the rationale, I think, can be valid. They can say, well, we don't know if you're inebriated. We're going to make sure you don't get back on the road because you might kill somebody. I can understand that. But what happens is it escalates so quickly when it's black people. When it's black people, it goes from 0 to 100 just like that. I want to remind everybody that coming up today at 12 noon, you've got another edition of the Community Connector podcast with Tiffany Daniels. On today's show, she's going to be speaking with Nadia Ruffin, aka Urban Farm Sister. And I'm sure it'll be worth your time. We'll get her backstory for those that don't know. And you also catch up with Nadia. I haven't spoken with her in over a year. So it'll be interesting to see what she's got to say about cicadas. If you've got questions, that will be a great time to get them answered. Okay, so shoot them in. All right, that'll be today at 12 noon. And if you already are subscribed to our Facebook page, then you'll get the notification. Okay, looking forward to that conversation. All right, good morning, everybody. Let me see. In his driveway, though, on his property, right? Well, they didn't know it was his driveway. They just know he pulled over. Like I said, we just need to rethink the rules that we want the police to go by. We need to rethink all of it because clearly we have a lot of room for growth. Clearly, we have a lot of room for growth. I mean, that's all I can say. There's a lot of room for growth when it comes to our relationship with police. I think that's the best way to put it. The police is the slave catchers. Police started from slave catchers. They did. But does that explain the actions of modern day policing? I mean, I'm sure that clever people could craft an argument saying yes, but I think it's more to it than that. We just need to have more control, more oversight, more agreements with the community that dictate their rules of engagement. Roots writes, no, white folks have given the police immunity. Terrence writes, that means we must come to the table and renegotiate the police contract. Dare writes, to be honest, those are great suggestions, but none are 100. Rachel writes, police feel like they don't need to explain why they are pulling you over if you don't immediately comply or question them. Remember the sister last week I showed you a video? She actually worked at the Department of Defense. She got pulled over by a police officer and he charged her with a whole bunch of bullshit. All the charges got thrown out by the prosecutor. And it just goes to show you what people have to endure. Like, you're not going to win at the side of the road. So just keep your mouth closed and let them write up whatever they want to. The facts should be on your side, and then you'll have your day in court. Let me see. Janine writes, wouldn't his place being run indicate that was his address? Don't they do that when they're following you? Sorry, I took my headphones out because I thought it would be violent. They may not have had time to check the plates and run the plates. All they know is that they wanted to stop somebody and then somebody pulled into a driveway. They don't know if it's their house or not. I agree with you. Getting more information about things should matter. But my thing is, if he didn't, in fact, drive through a stop sign, why were they so curious about him? What difference does it make? Is it because he was black? I don't know. I don't want to jump to any conclusions. I don't want to make any assumptions. I don't know. I don't know, family. We'll find out. Let me see. Are you going to sign up for the Vax a Million lottery here in Ohio? I was listening to the ladies with the Melanin Insights podcast, and they both are suspicious of the vaccine. And the fact that they're doing a lottery in Ohio is making them even more suspicious. Like, well, why they trying so? You know, when somebody's trying too hard. Ladies, you ever had a guy who tried too hard to get with you, and you like the fact that he was trying so hard, you like, what's up here? I don't know. There will be 5 weekly drawings beginning May 26th. That's next week. Let me look at May 26th. Yep, that's Wednesday of next week. Each winner will receive $1 million. Ohioans who are at least 18 years and older and have received at least one vaccine are eligible. The winnings will be paid for using federal coronavirus relief dollars. Winners will be taxed on their earnings. Those under 18s who get vaccinated will be eligible for a separate drawing to receive a 4-year full scholarship to any university in the state. Okay. All right. Okay. So there it is. If you've gotten at least one shot, why not? May as well. You might win. Greg writes, here is my question. Here's my query. Given this police incident and many others, what are Joe Biden and Kamala Harris going to do to reduce and eliminate racial profiling? That's a fair question. We've got a few minutes at the top of the hour, and that works actually because I need to make a move just a little bit earlier this morning, just about a few minutes. I really appreciate you, and I plan to be back with you bright and early tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m.-ish, approximately-ish. I've got a couple of interviews set up this week that I think you'll be very interested in, and always looking to talk with interesting people. So if you see a interesting, say, book, or somebody writes a super dope article and you're like, man, I'd love to hear a conversation on it, send me a link. I'll take a look at it. Might interest me as well. If anybody would like to connect with me about sponsorship opportunities for this show or any of the shows in this growing network, please hit me with a direct message and I'll respond with you today. Have an excellent Monday. Have a momentous Monday. All right. I don't give a damn if it's raining or not. I'm about to get it in. Have an excellent day, and we'll talk real soon. All right. What's the motto for the week? Winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. So stay focused, stay winning, and we'll talk real soon. I'm Nathan Ivy, and I'm out.
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand. Back again like flu season, I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving, don't give a I don't care. Did the by my lonesome, no wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run, all I really want is my share. Get on my God, I told him it's nothing. In the discussion, got them feelings, I throw all my pain on percussion. It's disgusting, I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you almost spotted the feast. I've been on go mode, show mode, showboat, rowboat, wait.